Have you ever stumbled upon survival advice that sounded more like a recipe for disaster than a guide to making it out alive? It's curious, isn't it? Picture this: you, braving the wild, equipped with nothing but your wits, and unfortunately, a list of the worst survival tips known to humankind. It's like being handed a map that leads off a cliff. Not exactly the adventure you signed up for. So, let's embark on this hilarious, somewhat terrifying journey together and learn how to dodge these survival no-nos like pros. Because, let's face it, when Mother Nature hits the fan, you'll want to do more than just survive. You'll want to thrive, minus the life-threatening advice, of course. Tip 1. Drinking your own urine for hydration. Ever thought, hey, if I'm stranded without water, I'll just pull a Bear Grylls and drink my own pee? Hold that thought, and your bladder, because this is where things get really interesting. Picture this: you're parched, stranded, and suddenly remember this tip. But wait, drinking your own urine for hydration is about as helpful as trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Here's the deal: urine contains salts and waste products your body is trying to get rid of. Reintroducing them doesn't just sound like a party foul. It actually increases your body's need for water to flush these substances out again, leading to further dehydration. So what's the verdict? If you're imagining yourself as a desert island mixologist, maybe stick to coconut water instead. Why double down on dehydration when you can avoid turning your survival story into a pee-sad saga? Let's not make survival harder than it has to be, shall we? Tip 2. Sucking venom out of a snakebite. Ah, the old cowboy movie classic, sucking venom out of a snakebite. Sounds badass, right? Wrong. If you think you can just lock lips with a snakebite wound and call it a day, think again. This method is about as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubblegum. Here's the lowdown. Not only does sucking out venom not work, because the venom travels through your lymphatic system, not on the surface, but you also risk infecting the wound, or even better, introducing the venom into your own mouth. So instead of auditioning for the next role as Dracula of the desert, focus on keeping the bitten limbs still and getting medical help ASAP. As for a silly alternative, maybe just don't go around giving hickeys to snake bites. Stick to band posters for that. Tip 3. Eating snow for hydration. Ever been so thirsty you thought about gobbling up a handful of snow like it's your favorite ice cream? Well, pump the brakes on your snow buffet, because this tip is colder than your ex's heart. Eating snow for hydration sounds cool, literally, until you realize it's like trying to get a tan from moonlight. Not very effective and pretty darn cold. Consuming snow actually lowers your body temperature, which means your body has to burn extra calories just to warm back up, making you more dehydrated and hungrier in the process. So, before you start mimicking a snow cone machine, remember that melting the snow first is the way to go. Unless, of course, you enjoy the sensation of turning into a human popsicle. Let's keep our survival strategies hot and our snow for making snowmen, shall we? Tip 4. Following birds to find water. So, you're lost and thinking of following birds to find water. Sure, because birds, with their notorious love for spa days, are totally reliable water detectors, right? Here's the fluttering truth. While some birds do head towards water, their flight paths are as predictable as a plot twist in a telenovela. Relying on them could have you wandering around like a contestant in the world's least fun scavenger hunt. Imagine telling your survival story. There I was, following a flock of birds, expecting a pristine lake, and bam! Led straight to a bird bath in someone's backyard. Instead of playing follow the feathered leader, consider learning actual navigation skills or looking for more reliable signs of water. Birds might tweet the tunes, but they're not about to become your personal GPS. Let's not wing it when it comes to finding water, shall we? Tip 5. Relying on moss for direction. Ever heard the one about moss always growing on the north side of trees and thinking, great, nature's compass? Well, it's time to moss bust this myth. While moss does enjoy a shady spot, using it as your North Star is about as reliable as following a trail of breadcrumbs through a forest. So, before you start treating moss like it's Google Maps from the Middle Ages, remember that the world is more complex than a simple mossy code. If you're lost, wouldn't you rather use a real compass than stand there scratching your head? Tip 6. Ignoring the need for shelter. Thinking you can just ignore the need for shelter because you're as tough as a $2 steak? Think again. Skipping on shelter is like going to a duel armed with a spoon. Sure, you might stand your ground for a while, but eventually, nature's going to win. Shelter isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. Without it, you're just a buffet for mosquitoes, a target for the elements, and a contestant on Who Wants to Be Hypothermia's Next Victim? Remember that time you thought you didn't need an umbrella because it's just a little rain? Now, replace little rain with freezing temperatures, scorching sun, or a sudden storm, and ask yourself how that's going to work out. Building a shelter is like putting on your armor against Mother Nature's mood swings. Don't be the hero of a survival story where the plot twist is you becoming a human popsicle. Tip 7. Drinking alcohol to stay warm. The age-old tale, drinking alcohol to stay warm. Because nothing says survival like getting tipsy in the great outdoors, right? Let's uncork this myth. While that initial warm flush might make you feel like a walking heater, alcohol is actually betraying you faster than a character in a soap opera. It dilates blood vessels near your skin, tricking you into feeling warm while your core temperature drops. Congratulations, you're now on the express train to Hypothermiaville. Here's a sarcastic survival tip. Why not juggle snowballs while you're at it? It'll be just as effective at keeping you warm. Instead of turning to the bottle, focus on actual warmth-preserving methods like layering up or cuddling with a fellow survivor, consensually of course. Tip 8. Prioritizing food over water. Ever thought, I'll just pack a steak for hydration? Sounds absurd, right? Yet, prioritizing food over water in a survival situation is along the same lines. Your body can play the hunger game much longer than it can deal with dehydration. It's like choosing to fill your car with premium gas while ignoring the fact it's on fire. Water is your body's oil, keeping everything running smoothly, while food is just the fancy paint job. So, before you start fantasizing about a 5-course meal while ignoring your thirst, remember that water is the VIP guest at the survival party. Ignoring it in favor of food is like planning to run a marathon after tying your shoelaces together. Water first, gourmet survival menu later. But knowing what not to do is half the battle won. Remember, genuine survival skills are your best friend in the great outdoors, not myths that sound like they were cooked up during a game of telephone. Let's keep our survival strategies smarter than a squirrel preparing for winter, and always double-check those pro tips. Laughing in the face of danger is all well and good, but let's not give danger the last laugh. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment with your own worst survival tips, share this video with your adventure-loving friends, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more survival myth-busting. Stay informed, stay safe, and let's keep surviving with a smile.